The desperate frenzy of spin in the wake of the detailed reports of President Trump's multiple attempts at obstruction of justice compiled by Special Counsel Robert Mueller continued on Easter morning as the president launched another fusillade of tweets that alternated between attacking the investigations, the investigators, and the media reporting on them and boasting about accomplishments that he's had little to do with. After beginning his morning with perhaps the least inspirational Easter message ever issued by an American president, Trump suddenly discovered the meaning of the term op-ed with his expression of surprise that his nemesis the failing New York Times would publish an article by a conservative Trump supporter, despite the fact that the newspaper, like most others, regularly publishes opposing editorial viewpoints. Op-ed, get it? Do you believe this? The New York Times op-ed. Media and Democrats owe Trump an apology. Well, they got that one right. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, April 21, 2019. Well, now we know at least two people share that opinion. After his brief media commentary, Trump returned to his disinformation campaign to feed his supporters an alternate narrative about the Mueller investigation. One in which, rather than being the subject of legitimate inquiry into the multiple suspicious contacts between his campaign and Russian and other foreign agents, the president was the innocent victim of vengeful political opponents who launched an unwarranted witch hunt to discredit his presidency. The Trump haters and angry Democrats who wrote the Mueller report were devastated by the no collusion finding. Nothing but a total hit job which should never have been allowed to start in the first place. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, April 21, 2019. The use of the term hit job was an appropriate choice of words for a president whose behavior is likened to that of a mob boss, when it's not being compared to that of more traditional dictators. Despite no collusion, no obstruction, the radical left Democrats do not want to go on to legislate for the good of the people, but only to investigate and waste time. This is costing our country greatly, and will cost the Dems big time in 2020. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, April 21, 2019. Despite completely undermining his own credibility by declaring no obstruction when anyone who glanced at even the redacted version of the Mueller report can plainly see the evidence contradicting that claim, Trump goes on to both subvert the constitutional mandate for the legislative branch of government to provide oversight and to ignore the long legacy of money and time-wasting investigations over far less important issues than whether the President of the United States is compromised by a foreign power, that the Republican Congress held during the Obama administration. While they say that there's a Trump tweet for every occasion, it's hard to recall Trump tweeting that the GOP was on a witch hunt and endlessly probing Benghazi or Hillary Clinton's email server. The president still had more to say about his own victimization, however, and couldn't let an opportunity pass by to project his own guilt upon his opponents, as is his typical practice. Can you believe that I had to go through the worst and most corrupt political witch hunt in the history of the United States? No collusion, when it was the other side that illegally created the diversionary and criminal event and even spied on my campaign. Disgraceful. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, April 21, 2019. Well, yes and no, Mr. President. While we most assuredly believe that you had to be thoroughly and completely investigated for your corrupt and criminal actions, most anyone who has read the Mueller report cannot believe your demeaning description of it as a purposeless, corrupt, ill-conceived, politically motivated, unlawful probe when your own behavior, as described by those who worked alongside you each day, indicates the exact opposite. And no one but your own GOP congressional toadies believes your attempt to pin criminal blame on deep state insiders for illegally spying on your campaign when the actions Mueller's report describes and the guilty pleas he's obtained offer more than sufficient proof of the rationality of the initiation of an extensive inquiry. At least you ended your tweet with an appropriate description of your own disgraceful behavior. Easter is often associated with lamb, both as a meal and as a religious symbol. Perhaps Trump's persistent bleeding is his own bizarre and oblique tribute to the holiday, but then what's his excuse every other day? Follow Vinny Longobardo on Twitter. Add your name to reject Trump's hereby demand for baseless investigation into Obama administration. Vinny Longobardo is a 35-year veteran of the TV, mobile and internet industries, specializing in startups and the international media business. His passions are politics, music and art. Let's block ads. Why?